What's good, Raider Nation? The Raiders have made significant strides during the 2025 offseason, but whether these moves are enough to propel them into the playoff race, we don't know yet. Have the Raiders moved the needle enough? That's what we want to talk about with you today. So take the mic and join the madness.
Monday Night Madness is where your voice takes the mic. This platform is for the dysfunctionally passionate Raider fan to provide their overreactive analysis, provide their emotional persuasiveness, and a chance to be grossly opinionated. When you take the mic, your hot take doesn't necessarily reflect the beliefs of all of Raider Nation or of this show. There might be cussing, arguing, and fans appearing on camera that aren't camera ready. Everyone is welcome to take the mic and join the madness.
If there's anything we've ever done that I'm particularly proud of, I would have to say that the perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders, to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
I think this journey is the most special because there's not a lot of people that have the opportunity playing in high school and college and then pro and then being injured and starting coaching as a young coach.
Can portray me any way they want because I don't give a damn. I am what I am, and until those people touch me close enough, they'll never know what I am. If they want to see me in this interview or in a newspaper article and say, what's the matter with this guy? Let them say it. But don't you analyze me and don't you tell me what I am until you get close enough to understand what I am. Then you can make an analysis of me. But don't you dare do it until that.
Clicked in my mind that if you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and 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 over. Run through a motherfucker face.
The mental side of the game is taking me to the next level, and it's true confidence. It's feeding your brain elite of elite. And as I always talk about 1% and more is required, and I always say these things, but it's what I live. I see it everywhere I go because you have to constantly train your mind for greatness.
What's good, Raider Nation? I'm Spicy Raider Girl with Scotty Waddy Raider 1. Welcome to Monday Night Madness. We want you to be as vocal and outspoken as some of those legendary Raiders that you just saw right there. So use the link that is pinned to the top here to join live on the show with us. Today we're talking about, have the Raiders done enough to move the needle? What's good, Scotty? How you doing tonight?
What's going on? Doing great. Let's see what the people think. You know, we've made everything. We moved everything from the GM down, you know. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's see what you think.
Yep. Remember, light that torch, hit that like button, subscribe, and you can join to become a member. We appreciate all our members of this show. You can also hit that super chat button to support the show. And if you're watching over on Facebook, if you want to join the conversation, make sure to join us on YouTube. Yeah, so some of the significant changes we're going to talk about tonight, coaching and leadership changes. We've talked about that on this show throughout this offseason. It seems like the Raiders really have a pivotal strategical plan for once. I don't want to say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but for once I can feel like there's a plan in sight and they are trying to orchestrate it. They are trying to get it done. Also, of course, the much needed quarterback acquisition, the roster enhancements, the draft selections, the cap management, which hasn't been talked about a lot, but we're going to talk about that too. And we want to welcome a friend to the show, a friend of this show. He's going to be joining us. We always appreciate his insight. Welcome to the show, Arthur. How's it going, my friend? Can you hear us? You are live.
Got you. How we doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, big conversation here is, have the Raiders done enough in the offseason to move the needle? And that's what we want to hear everyone's opinion about. So guys, what do you think? Obviously, let's start with coaching and leadership, right? Let's start with coaching and leadership. Pivotal shifts occurred with the hiring of Pete Carroll as head coach, replacing AP, of course. Carroll's decision to join the Raiders was influenced by the likes of Tom Brady, who we know is a minority owner, whose leadership and influence are expected to bleed into this organization with this winning culture? Are we drinking the Kool-Aid or let's start with the coaching and leadership, guys. What do you think? Have we done enough there?
If you ask me, I think the needle did definitely move when it comes to coaching. Again, we have a winner. Pete Carroll's a winner. Wherever he's gone, he's won. I'm hoping that translates over to this side. We got Chip Kelly at offensive coordinator. I think that moves the needle. I mean, didn't we have Luke Getsy? It's almost impossible not to move that needle. And I think the keeping Patrick Graham definitely moves the needle because there's the continuity that we haven't. Man, Patrick Graham's been with us. What? This is gonna be 3 years. That's unheard of. What are we doing here? that's shocked. But the majority of the players are still around on the defensive side for Patrick Graham, and I think that's gonna help. And I think we've gotten a little bit better. We made some moves at linebacker, Jalen Smith and help me, Arthur. Who's the other guy we got? We just got Devin White. So yeah, I think all those as far as the coaching goes, I think all that works. If you want to go up to Spytech, I think he had a great draft. To me, it seems like he knows a plan and a direction that we're trying to go into, which is different than what we've seen in the past. So, as far as
go ahead, Arthur. What do you think? We'll start with coaching and leadership changes. What have the Raiders done enough to kind of move the needle here? Do you think they've made significant changes?
Absolutely. I mean, Scotty just mentioned it, and I've been preaching on it and harping on it the whole offseason. We've been talking about keeping Patrick Graham. That was so huge. And also keeping Rob Leonard. I mean, our defensive line coach and Rob Leonard, I mean, that continuity that we have with the defense and the way they were playing at the end of the season is huge. So those two, just keeping them in-house, like Scotty just said, Pete Carroll's a winner. He's won everywhere he's went. He's going to continue to win. He knows how to build cultures. And then, like I said, I love Chip Kelly as an OC. So coaching, we're great there. We did enough continuity-wise. Leadership, I don't know if you guys read about this or heard about this, but the couple of hires they just made in Anthony Patch and Brandon Hunt are ridiculous. I mean, we just stole them from the Phillies, you know what I mean, or from Philadelphia. I mean, Anthony Patch is Howie Roseman's right-hand man. I mean, that's the dude you'd see next to him, in the draft. And the way that the Eagles have been drafting lately to steal Howie Roseman's right-hand man, that tells me Spytech is, I mean, he's on it. He's doing exactly what needs to be done to move the needle and to really, really change the culture.
Yeah. And what do you think that those moves in particular really mean for the Raiders?
Well, I mean, Brandon Hunt is going to be the VP of player operations, but he was their senior scouting coordinator. So obviously he knows how to evaluate talent. Like I said, the Eagles have had great drafts the past few years. They don't, draft for needs all the time. They draft talent. They bring in talented guys, and if they stack up, their D line, they stack up their D line. They don't care. They're just going to have a lot of depth. They are going to bring in talented players. So I think that's what Hunt's going to bring is the guy knows how to evaluate talent. We know how to bring in someone that can evaluate talent. And then same thing with Patch. When you're in the Eagles organization and Howie Roseman trusts you to, that's your right-hand man, and we stole him away, and he's now going to be with Spytech. Those are two just outstanding hires that the average Raider fan probably either just overread or doesn't know about.
Yeah.
No, and I think you're exactly right. We've been talking about the front office moves that have been needed for I don't know, probably the entirety of this show, really, and how we have always talked. Scotty and I always talked about how I'll say, the failing of this team, because they have failed, right, has come, we think, our opinion has always been, from the organization and from the front office. So yeah, these moves are huge. I think it's certainly setting a message. It's setting a tone, and it's setting a winning tone, I think. And again, it just further plays out the fact that this is a plan that they clearly have laid out that they're acting on. Scotty?
Yeah, let's not forget Spytech. He started in the league as a scout. He moved up to GM. A few weeks ago, we picked up some other big scouts. I believe one was from the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was Broncos.
So clearly, we're out here really trying to evaluate talent, as you said, Arthur. And that's a direction that we. First of all, you don't hear teams really doing that, but then
Yeah.
when you do hear it, they've already been successful.
Yep.
So
Right.
like Philadelphia, it was just they've done a masterclass at this. So the fact that we're getting some of these people and that we're focusing on this scouting, that's huge because that's our future. That's longevity, So we can afford to make a few misses here and there, but we have so much more, in our back pocket that may help us a whole bunch there.
Yep,
Absolutely.
definitely. And just to kind of further that, the Raiders haven't really had someone who has been successful, at least longevity wise, at really recognizing talent and scouting talent. I mean, maybe some will disagree, but really we haven't had that. We've seen a lot of misses. A lot of fails, a lot of just players that we expected to perform better that didn't. But yeah, so we think they moved the needle there in the coaching and leadership. Let's pivot here. The next thing that they made, of course, the big move at quarterback, the quarterback acquisition, right? The trade for Geno Smith from the Seahawks addressed critical need. I mean, we had really no QB1 last year. I mean, we had like, who was the third guy? Ritter or something like that after AOC and then after Minshew, and it was just a mess. So Smith's expertise, his familiarity, I can say words, with Carroll's system could provide that stability. I think he could be a leader. I will say I was shocked when I saw the extension before he even took a snap, and I was a little taken aback. But, I think we got to stand behind him. We got to give him his 3 years, and we got to let this guy perform. If that's who we're banking on, that's who we're banking on. He wouldn't have been my first pick. I don't know off the top of my head who would have been, but it was a little shocking to me. But I do think with his relationship with Carroll and really what he did in Seattle with not a great team there either, I think the Raiders have a better team than what he had working with last season. I think we have moved the needle there. What do you guys think?
I'm going to reiterate what you just said. Geno Smith has a better team to work with now than he has. Yeah, no doubt about it. I like the fact that Pete Carroll brought him over. Am I sold on Geno Smith as he's the next, whatever best thing? No, I'm not. But we needed something in a quarterback light draft, and if you want to say, I'll take the best case scenario, then it was Geno Smith because he knows Pete Carroll, he knows the system, and he seemed like he wanted to come back with Pete Carroll. That's huge.
He took less money. He took less money than Seattle offered him.
Yeah, and they paid him his money. That's cool. And they didn't draft a quarterback behind him. So the quarterback that we did get one's a development guy, and the other one, by all accounts, has been said that he's going to be a wide receiver more than anything else. So there is a report out there that Pete Carroll said, I didn't want to draft a quarterback because I didn't want Geno Smith looking over his shoulder. You know what? If that is true, I like his approach. I like his approach. He says, hey, Geno, I need you. And then turn around and grab another guy to sit right. Hey, okay. If he happens to get injured or whatever it may be, I think AOC is going to be the next on the list. Okay, that's fine. We'll take that. But at the end of the day, I think it does move the needle, and it's not hard to move the needle from last year. Right.
Okay, fair enough. But enough to make a push towards the playoffs. Maybe we should elaborate a little bit more here. Enough to make a significant difference. How's that?
So I'll say the same thing. When we first got Geno, I immediately texted Omar and was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. But as time is going on and the way that Pete's building this, I'm starting to kind of fall in love with it a little bit. His extension wasn't real big. It's 37. It's under 40 million. So that's not a lot for a starting quarterback of his caliber in this league. So I'm happy with that. It's 3 years. So it's pairing him. The way that Spytek's doing everything is, 3-year contract for Pete Carroll, 3-year contract for Max. Geno's getting 3 years. I think when they do extend Colton Miller, which is going to probably happen very soon, he'll get another 2 years, which will be 3 years. So everyone's getting kind of on that track where we're building something in the right way. Geno's super efficient. I mean, the guy is like, complete 70% of his passes. So it's just leading into what we just did in the draft by going out and getting those wide receivers that we got. We got Genty, who can catch a lot better than people give him credit for. Geno's going to be super accurate, going to get him the ball. He's going to be a leader on this team, and he's absolutely going to win us a lot more games.
Yeah, let's not forget, we got Geno a lot of help back there.
Yes.
Charles Grant, man, do not sleep on this guy. Charles Grant is going to be the real deal out
absolutely.
there. We already have JPJ, we got Colton Miller, and we got Ashton Genty back there. Hey, man, Geno Smith's going to have some help back there, and that's a lot more than he had in Seattle.
Yep.
So, hey, to go back to your old coach and have a new and improved team, the system, I'm okay with it. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk a little bit about that. I think the roster enhancements have really moved the needle as well. Kind of, you guys had already started talking about it. I think it's really going to come down to, can that line protect him? I mean, they have several key additions, right? Jeremy Chin, a safety. We've got potentially we can talk about this too. Potentially replacing Trayvon Moehrig. You guys already talked about. The quarterback, I think you were speaking of, we can get into draft selections a little later, but I think you were speaking of Cam Miller, Scotty, when you were talking about the quarterback. Got a couple running backs, actually. So there's options for running backs, right? Last year, I felt like we didn't have options. We have options this year, obviously with the draft with Genty, but Raheem is in there. Who else? Offensive guard. What's his name? Alex Kappa. Yep. So that'll strengthen as well. So I think these are roster enhancements. I think these are good off-season acquisitions. I think Geno has the weapons, right? I think we can agree on that. Some people might say that another wide receiver is needed. We'll see about that. I think again, we can get into draft selections later, but I think Betch is going to do well. We'll TBD, right? Yeah. But I think it's going to come down to, can that offensive line protect him? But roster enhancements, you guys think move the needle, an improvement here?
Well, as far as the roster goes, we made quite a few significant enhancements. Again, you mentioned Jeremy Chin, who's a beast. He's
a hitter.
I think we're going to see a lot of packages with him at linebacker also.
Yes.
With him, our blitzing coming off. I think we're going to see a lot of that. Let's hope this D line stays healthy. We don't know about what's the inside linebacker?
Christian Wilkins.
Hoping he's all right. Right. Malcolm Kuntz got signed. Adam Butler's a beast. He had a great year last year. And then there's, what can you say about Max Crosby? I mean, but I think we're going to get after it on defense and on that offensive line. Again, it's not perfect, but Geno Smith got some wheels still.
Yeah.
He's got some wheels, and forget about it. Genty's he's a steamroller. Yep. So roster moves, I think we definitely moved the needle. I think we made some smart picks. We have the tallest wide receivers in the NFL right now. Those are just all of that is just plus for us.
Yep. Arthur?
I mean, I agree. I want to see Tyree Wilson take a step this year also. Where we just kind of talk about the D line, and that's the one who needs to take a big step forward. He was a first-round draft pick 2 years ago, so it's time for him to really show what he can do. I know he's had some injury concerns. I agree. I love the Jeremy Chin signing. That guy's a thumper. He can play down in the box, kind of a la Kyle Hamilton of the Ravens. The linebackers position, I'm still a little unsure about. The corner, I'm still a little sure about, but I do like the Darian Porter draft pick, so I think that he can really shore up that defensive backfield. Like I said, I'm just still a little worried about linebacker. If Devin White can take a step and do some things, I think that could be good, but he's not great in coverage. So, I mean, there's that. So that's the only position on the defense that I'm really kind of worried about. Offensively, we're stacked. We know we're stacked. I think that offensive line is a lot better than people are going to give it credit for. Like I said, Colton Miller's still a top 3 left tackle in the league. DJ Glaze is going to take a step at right tackle and be that much better. I agree. The Charles Grant draft is great. I mean, we got a lot of depth at offensive line. Kappa hasn't been great, but he can only improve, and hopefully, with the Spy Tech connection, that'll he'll play a little bit better and he can be better. So, but that's a depth piece to me. So I think the offensive line is a lot better than people give it credit for. And as long as they play the way that I think that they can, they can be. They're not going to be the number 1 offensive line in the NFL, but they're not going to be 32 either. They can be a top 10 to 12 offensive line, and they do that and protect Geno, we're going to win some games.
And I think we're also going to be top 10 in defense. So defensive line. So we'll see how that goes too. So we're going to follow the chat here. The chat has kind of taken a different direction, and we're going to talk about Woodson whiskey here. We're going to get back to have the Raiders done enough to move the needle after that discussion with draft selections, cap management, and the projected outlook. But yes, Rick says, Rick, thank you for being a member and a longtime supporter of this show. We appreciate you. He said, sad about Woodson whiskey and Intercept wines or any alcohol that has his name has to be removed. So this news came out because we heard the rumor that Charles Woodson, surprisingly to me, I don't know about the rest of you. This is the news coming out. He is buying 1%. I don't even think it's 1%. I think it's like 0.01%, which is like 1/1000th or something. So I think it's even less than that. But anyway, 1%, it says here, of the Browns. If this happens, which looks like the real deal, the NFL alcohol rules, no ownership can have their names on alcohol. Now, I don't know how this works exactly. I don't think he's going to give up his business over it. Woodson is probably branded as a whiskey, right? So maybe he can't put his likeliness on it. I don't know if this means he doesn't get to own the company or there's a name change coming or anything like that. But it is kind of disappointing that he won't be able to continue, those lines in that way, and maybe a little disappointing that he wants to own the Browns. Come, minority owners, Lincoln Kennedy, join him. Come join the Raiders. We want you over here on the dark side, Woodson. Rick goes on to say, C-Dub will pay $200 million for a very small percentage, I think it's like 1/1000th or something like that. But I don't know. Did you guys hear this news, and what do you think?
I think it's 0.1%. I don't think anything of it. It is what it is. I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the chat was talking about it, and they had a pretty good conversation going.
I'm not.
Hey, it's Join the Madness. That's where they led the conversation, so that's why we're talking about it. Arthur?
No, I'm not throwing it back at you. I'm just saying, to me, it's kind of a non-factor. I mean, good for him. Cool.
It's a good business move for him if that's what's going down. I mean, don't get me wrong. As a whiskey drinker, I love Woodson whiskey. I have some in my whiskey cabinet right now. I would hate if they didn't make Woodson whiskey anymore. That would be very disappointing. So I think that's what upsets me. And I agree. I see if he wants to be a part of an ownership group, he should be part of our ownership group. Once a Raider, always a Raider, of course. So, but yeah, I mean, I would be more disappointed if I couldn't get Woodson whiskey anymore than would be him owning the Browns, honestly.
Fair enough. Rick goes on to say, he said, let's get up here. I thought the same. The Raiders organization didn't want him to buy into the Raiders ? I don't know if he didn't want to or there wasn't an option. I don't know any insights into that. Travis says, if you have a bottle, will the value be going up? I don't know. I have all the bottles. I actually have signed bottles as well. So hope so.
Absolutely.
Let's hope so. All right, but let's get back on track here. We're going to go back to, did the Raiders move the needle enough? We talked about the coaching leadership, the quarterback acquisitions, the roster enhancements. We did touch on draft selections, but let's go into it a little bit more. Obviously, we know Genty at running back, huge void needed. Jack Betch, wide receiver. People are expecting a lot from him. Scotty, you talked about Cam Miller. Of course, there's a slew of others. But I think we all agree this was a good draft, right? This was Spycheck's first go at it for the Raiders, and we don't know yet. We haven't seen anything happen yet, of course. But on paper, it's looking good, right, guys?
Yeah, no, definitely. we come on here year after year talking about, no, this is going to be, we're going to be good this year, we're going to be good, and all the Vegas people say, nope, you're going to win 4 games, and we're like, come on, man, give us some more credit. But you know what? After the draft, I mean, we weren't getting less than a B from all these experts and all that. So I'm like, damn, maybe, you know, that there's something there. You know, I also saw something about we're predicted to win 6 games, something like that. Okay, that's fine. But is it trending in the right direction? And again, I'm not expecting to be in the Super Bowl this next year.
No.
But I think that if we make some significant strides and we hit home runs in the next draft, then you might be hearing me say a different tune next year at this time. You know, I think, you know, we might really be in some serious contention. So you can't do everything at once, you know, and most of the time, these guys that come in on these teams, and you've seen it a million times before, they come in, they have a great season, they go to the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl, and then they're dead for the next 10 years. I'd rather build off of this the way that we're trending and looking, and build years of contention. So,
well, that's just it. We're going to have to manage expectations, right? This is not going to be a turnaround season where we go win 4 games and then go win the Super Bowl. Like, let's get I think Raiders fans need to be a little realistic and patient. I know we've been patient long enough. You know, a lot of us haven't even seen a Super Bowl in our lifetime. And the last time they had a significant run was decades ago. But I think we have to be patient. We can't call for firings of everybody. As a fan base, we need to support this team, and we need to see this plan see itself through over the next three seasons or something. But Arthur?
And one thing that, I mean, the schedule obviously came out last week, and for me, the home schedule is extremely winnable. There's only really 2 games, if you want to keep it real, with Kansas City and Dallas, that are games that, okay, I mean, we could maybe steal the Kansas City game or maybe steal it, but all the rest of the home games are very winnable. You got Jacksonville at home, you have Denver, who we dominate usually at home, you have, I mean, obviously the Chargers are division games, but you also have the Bears. That's a winnable game. You have, I mean, there's a lot of the Titans, you know, those are all winnable home games. So, you know, even if you just take care of business at home, there's 6 wins right there that, you know, I can see. So absolutely. I mean, and like you said, it's just patience. Once again, we're not going to the Super Bowl, but Pete Carroll talks about competing. And that's what all I want to do this year is let's compete. Let's be in games. Let's go into Sunday morning when we wake up and go, we can win this game today, and not, well, if we lose, maybe we'll get Shadur or maybe we can get this draft pick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. I want a November and December of, okay, like, we got to win today, and, you know, we're right there in the playoff hunt. So just continue to compete and get better and build and know that we're going in the right direction.
April's calling you out, and she's keeping you honest, Scotty. She's keeping you honest.
Here's another point I'd like to add. You know, we get these 2 linebackers, White and Jalen, and you know, I don't know what their contracts are, but I'm pretty sure they're really short, really light contracts. You know, we're getting a couple players here. Are we making the real moves in the front office with these scouts saying, yeah, put this guy in. He's a bridge linebacker. Nobody ever says that.
Yeah.
Everybody says bridge quarterback. Maybe he's a bridge linebacker. Maybe he's a bridge safety, et cetera, because such and such is coming up in the next draft or something. You know, are those the moves that we're making? I truly hope that that's the way that we're looking at these things. You know, because we're talking about moving the needle. Well, okay, we got to worry about cap spaces. We got to worry about all those type of things. So, you know, I think that our coaching staff is going to stay intact for 3 years. I think we're gonna stick with it, but I think we can sustain sticking with it because we have smarter coaching right now. You know, So as opposed to what we've had in the previous years.
Previous recent seasons. Yeah, and you touched on it, Scotty. We're going to talk about that now. Cap management, right? Another thing I think the front office has done a good job at. The Raiders front office demonstrated this with reconstructing contracts for key players. Really, the big one was anyone remember a guy named Jimmy G? Devontae Adams, and of course Max Crosby. These moves have freed up over like $40 million in cap space, allowing for some of these strategic acquisitions. Someone in the chat, let me know, or if you guys know. I don't know what the Raiders still have remaining. Is it something like 24 million?
A little more. It's about 35, I thought.
Oh, is it that high? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they still have a significant amount of money there. So again, good moves there. Good moves, good money management moves.
I mean, with everything that we've got combined with what we've drafted, plus what we drafted last year, I think it's really good to still have what we have left, and still be in this position right here where it doesn't. I don't know what else we may pick up, but I think to have 30 some. I thought it was 42, but they may have gotten somebody in the past couple days. But it's in that area. I think it's really good to still be in that position at this point right now today.
Totally agree.
Okay.
I think in years past,
it looks like they're at 36 right now. So you're right, Arthur.
Okay, I think in years past, what we would have done in years past is we would have went out and overpaid for the highest or the big name free agent guy, or the Super Bowl MVP, or you know what I mean, just some big name, some speedster, and threw way too much money at him, and then pretty much would have shot our entire wad on one or two guys. What they did is, a guy like Jeremy Chin. Not a lot of people know who this Jeremy Chin is, but if you've seen him and seen him play, that dude's a hitter. I mean, he's the new Legion of Boom type of guy. The linebacker we got, I can't think of his name, but he's same thing, going to be one of the starting linebackers. He's, we didn't pay him a lot. They spent really well. They didn't, Max's extension was well done. And there's still money to extend, like I said, a Colton Miller. There's still money to extend a Jacoby Meyer. These guys that we have in-house that are playing well for us and that are in-house players that can help us win. So to have, anywhere between 35, 40, whatever we have, there's still money that we can spend in the right places and take care of our guys. Because like I said, Colton's still a top 3 left tackle in this league. So give him some guaranteed money, make him happy. That's one of the things that I'm actually kind of looking for this week. Since it's voluntary OTAs, is he going to show up? I hope he does, and I hope that, like I said, they get that extension done and just make him happy. To still have the money that we have and not have gone out and just signed, the big name free agent and overspent on him, or this guy was a Super Bowl MVP, let's go sign him, and stuff that we've done in years past is just blown up in our face. It shows that we're being smart.
And we'll sign the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 13.
Right.
It's like, stop. Like, and pay the guy. And stop. Now it just seems so much more thought out than just
for sure
before. So I don't think we're a perfect team by any means.
No.
But we have some things to fill, but we weren't going to do it in one draft or in one offseason anyway.
No.
But I think
it's a good start. It's a good start. All right, everybody. Remember, light that torch, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. You can join to become a member. If you're watching over on Facebook, make sure to come to YouTube to join the conversation. And y'all being shy tonight, this is Join the Madness. We want you to take the mic. This is the show where you don't want to hear from us. We want to hear from you. So use the StreamYard link that is pinned to the top. Come and join us on the show. If you're camera shy or you aren't camera ready, you can turn your camera off and we can still hear what you have to say. Also, don't forget, we are still having that raffle for the Raiders home opener. Go to Spicy Raider Girl on Facebook, enter that raffle. Of course, if you're watching this show tonight, you can get an entry for just $10, and if you're a member of the show, you can get an entry for just $5. All other pricing for Facebook is up there. You'll see you'll get a discount just for supporting this show. It is for the Raiders home opener against the Chargers. Go on there. We're hoping that we can fill it by this Wednesday and we could do the raffle on the Spicy Shield Talk. So go over to Spicy Raider Girls Facebook page and enter to win. It's a very low price to potentially get into that game there. $10 or $5 for members for one entry each on those specials, and then obviously you can enter a few more times. What's up to everybody? We didn't really say hello to everyone in the chat, but we were flashing your comments, and we're happy that you're here. What's good, Face Beast? Raider Speedy, Raider Travis, of course, rocking the building. April, what's good? We got Rick, Aloha, Alex, Raiders, Foo Chris. Make sure, go join everyone else's YouTube too. Subscribe to all these guys. Jay Jackson, what's up? Jay Jackson in the building. Happy to have you here. I'm sure there's a bunch more of you, but hi to everybody. Thank you. Let's get into, we've kind of covered all the bases here, right? We think they have moved the needle. So we did do our our schedule release prediction show. I was a little higher than I intended to be, but overall, what are we looking at here? I mean, I've seen anywhere from 6 to 9 wins projected out there. I think realistically, the Raiders are going to end up somewhere between 8 and 9, which is obviously a huge improvement from 4 and 13. Excuse me. Could that squeak them into the playoffs? Could that get them in the hunt? Maybe. Could they win the AFC West? Travis thinks so. What do you guys think? What's your projected outlook for a realistic projected outlook? Not a just win, we're going to the Super Bowl generic type of an answer. A real projected outlook here.
I don't think 10 wins is unrealistic. I know people say, well, this team won this and this team won that, but it depends on who you play year in and year out. Because if you're playing a high school team for 17 games, well, then your record would change. But I've said it before, I'm counting on this coaching staff to earn us some more wins, and I don't think 10 wins is unrealistic. I don't think it's too far-fetched. I think and hope we can get to 10 wins this year.
So I just kind of talked about it, and Scotty's right. It's not only who you play, but when you play them.
Yeah.
If we were to play, we play the Eagles late in the year. I mean, if Jalen Hurts is, Lord forbid, dude, ruptures his Achilles or something in, week 10, and then all of a sudden we play them week 14 or 15, whenever it is, it's a different team versus playing them, week 1. So I just talked about it. Our home schedule is very favorable. I think that there's at least, even if you drop one of them, there's 5 winnable games at home right there. There's definitely some winnable road games. The Charger game is always a home Raider game anyways. We can go into San Diego and win that game, or to LA and win that game. The Patriots week 1 is a very winnable game to me. I fall right in about the 8 to 10 range. If we're pushing for 10 wins, great. But if we hit 8 and we don't make the playoffs, that's still a successful season to me. That shows that we're moving in the right direction and that this team is doing what we want to do as Raider fans.
Yeah, I agree. We've got people all over the board in the chat here. We've got 6 wins all the way up to about 10 wins. I'm sure Raider Travis is up there saying 17, but that's all good. He's always going to say that. So, he's always going to say it. Well, we'll get into our conclusions and our final thoughts here. Unless anyone wants to join the madness, come give us your opinions. Tell us why you think we're delusional. Come on, come and do it. If you think we're drinking the Kool-Aid, tell us why. Or if you think we're right on target, tell us what you think as well. Have the Raiders really, really move the needle? Well, listen. The theme here for me is I think that the Raiders have made very commendable efforts. Their roster, their organization, especially for me. I'm going to give right now what the organization's doing probably a better grade than I've ever given them. I'm not actually going to give them a grade, but I think they're doing better than I can really ever remember in recent years anyway. Are we a playoff team this year? I say maybe. Could they be in the hunt and get in? I say maybe. Are they really a contender in the playoffs? Probably not. I mean, you look at the teams like the Eagles and the Commanders. I think they're far above where the Raiders are right now. I think this is going to take time. Will it happen next year? Maybe, maybe not. I think we're looking at years, though. Maybe year 3 with this plan and this direction. But again, with the combination of the leadership, very experienced, proven winners. There's strategic acquisitions. The cap is managed well. They still have money in their pocket. I think it was a successful draft. And yeah, I think they can be contenders. We're going to have to be patient, though, and stick by our team.
Absolutely.
Guys, any final thoughts?
I got a question. Let me throw this question. You piqued my interest on something you said there.
Me?
You said if we get into into the playoffs, can we be contenders? The logical answer would seem to be, nah, we're not there yet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But now let me throw this at you.
Okay.
I think we might be, if we made it to the playoffs, I think we're more contenders than it would seem. And I'm going to tell you why. Pete Carroll. That's
Okay.
why. He's got experience there. He's been there before. He knows that the running back gets the ball when you're at the 1 yard line. Now he's learned that lesson.
Yeah.
But, all joking aside,
I got my one F-bomb.
I only thought of that thought when you said that because we haven't had this before, and if he can already have gotten us to the playoffs. Again, I'm leaning heavily that this coaching staff can get us more wins. And I think I don't think we're about to win the Super Bowl. But I think we can get in there and say we're contenders as opposed to, damn, they're going to blow us out.
Right.
I think I would lean more towards we're contenders than blow us out.
Well, and I agree. I don't think Pete would ever let them go in there saying, "Oh, hey, we haven't made the playoffs in so long, so we're just happy to be here." He's going to make sure that team is ready to go and ready to rock and ready to play. So, but once again, the playoffs for me aren't the end all. It's not the benchmark that if we make the playoffs, it's a successful season. If we don't make the playoffs, it's unsuccessful. For me, like I said, the benchmark is can I wake up in November? Can I wake up in December and say, hey, the Raiders have a chance to win this game today? And you know what? We're right in the hunt for things. I want to see our team when they put up the playoff hunt or in the playoffs. I want to see our team on the screen in December. I don't want to sit and watch a football game and go, well, okay, here we go again, but I'm not going to not watch. And so, I mean, once again, just want to compete. We, like I said, we're preaching patience on this show. We're preaching patience as Raider fans. But like I said, we're going in the right direction. Spytek is bringing in people that are helping him win. They're going to help him evaluate talent. That's good coaching. The extensions are done the right way. We're not overpaying people. We're not, being stingy with money and not paying people and saying, oh, well, you just got to wait like other teams are doing. Like we're doing everything the right way. So as long as we're patient and we keep pushing in this direction, it's going to happen. I mean, the success is going to happen soon enough. So for me, like I said, I want to wake up when it's cold outside and I'm eating my menudo on a Sunday morning and I want to actually not just enjoy the menudo. I want to enjoy the football game too.
Right. Definitely. All right. Some of you asked if you're not on Facebook, just for the raffle Venmo. There's the Venmo right there at Angela C. Pacheco to join the raffle. Don't put raffle or anything. Just put how many entries you want. And I should be able to tell by the dollar amount that you sent. But tell me anyway, because I'll have to check if you're like a member or just, watching the show. But I think Space Beast, you asked in particular. So yeah, that's how you can join if you're not able to find me on Facebook or if you're not on social media. So go ahead and you can enter the raffle that way. And like I said, hopefully we can get it filled up and we can have this raffle on Wednesday on the Spicy Shield Talk. All right, let's see what some of these other comments are. John Parker, I would like to see the Raiders have a big front line. We did talk about the line just a little bit, but yes, we think that's going to be super important as well. April, what's good, girl? Week 1, we got Pete Carroll going against his former team. Thomas E. Brady going against his former team. Week 1 will set the tone. Yeah, I mean, they've got to win that game, and at least they have to go into the Commanders game week 3 with at least a split, at least a split. You can't go into that game, because I think they're going to lose that game. You don't want to start 0-3. That's for sure. Rick, thanks for joining us. Got to get back to work. Well, thank you. Much love and respect to you all the way from Hawaii. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. So yeah, anything else, guys?
Look, I'm gonna look at it. Looks good until proven otherwise. I mean, it does look good.
I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to see how this week goes at OTAs and who shows up. And like I said, I want to see some of these rookies go against some NFL talent. Kind of, we all heard about how Besh did against rookie minicamp. I want to see him against, some NFL veterans and see how he plays. And like I said, I'm real interested to see if Colton shows up. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can talk about that a little bit. We haven't actually talked about the rookies mini camp at all on this show. Arthur, are you in the know of how they've been performing?
So, like I said, I heard a lot of good things about Besh, that they said that he just killed it. Obviously, Genty looked really good. Some of the videos I've seen and some of the articles I read. They like Porter a lot. Same thing with Charles Grant. It looks like he might compete, that they're going to give DJ Glaze every opportunity to win that job, but that Grant is really pushing him, and they like what they saw out of him. I'm curious, same thing. Obviously he did a little bit of special teams, but I want to see, that's another thing I'm kind of curious about this week, is how they're going to use Tommy Mellott in special teams. I heard that they want to use him on special teams and as a wide receiver. He was the kid from Montana State that won the D1 Heisman Trophy last year. So, it sounds like the rookie minicamp went pretty well, that those were some of the names that really jumped off the page at people. So I'm now curious, to see how these rookies transition with his OTAs to competing against actual NFL players and the speed of the game and how fast they can pick it up.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys saw this. I think I saw it earlier today or yesterday. Damon Arnett posted that he wanted to come back to the NFL.
No thanks.
And,
no.
He said I wasn't a professional before, but I'm still a dog or something like that. The reason that I bring that up is because, at least so far, from these rookies that we've gotten in, even all the way up to back to last year, it doesn't seem like we have these guys that are out there just yapping. They came to play football. They came to be professional football players. And I think that is a huge piece to this whole thing, because there's so much stuff going on, and it's not just our team. It's not Vegas. It's just, it's across the board, and it's in every sport. But I like the fact that our rookies and our sophomores now are like professionals and came to work. Look at Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, you really don't need that degree, but that's who he is. Yep. And props to him going back to get it, So I think that's a big part of what we need on this team when we speak about these things. I think that's looking great for us.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah. Everyone in the chat is also agreeing, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, we don't want our net.
Well, I even read the same thing. Josh Jacobs was interviewed a few weeks ago about Henry Ruggs and how he's working out and he wants to come back in the NFL next year when he gets out. And it's like, no thanks.
No thanks. Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, we talked about that on the Spicy Shield talk, and my point was, overall, of course, the situation was extremely unfortunate with somebody losing their life, and they'll never get a second chance. But if we believe in the justice system, should somebody be able to come out and perform at the occupation that they're in? I think yes. So should he be able to compete in the NFL? I think he should. I just don't think he should come to the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders should accept him back for several reasons. First of all, it's like you were essentially fired for breaking the law. So an employer would almost never take anyone back for that reason. And also, the Raiders haven't really won over the city of Las Vegas. They just really haven't. And I think that would put a very big damper on it, to be honest. A lot of the natives there, they didn't want the Raiders anyway, and then they bring this kind of trouble and this kind of drama, and they're not going to willingly accept that back. And I think that would turn people away when they're trying to build a home a home fan base, which they really have yet to acquire. I mean, we've seen the stadium be, mostly away fans almost every single game. So, yeah, to that point, should he get a second chance, or should he be able to work in his profession? Yes. Should the Raiders hire him back? I think not.
Right.
And I agree. I think also adding on to what you said, because I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said, but it would just be in such bad taste to have him right back, right? And, that would just, no, don't do that, man. It's going to be bad enough that he comes back to play when his team comes back, if another team accepts him, that he's going to come back. If the punishment's light, I mean, but again, the justice system is the justice system. That's aside from football, but it's such in bad taste if the Raiders were to get him. And then you have, your star wide receiver on banners and on lights and stuff. And no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh gosh, I just picture that. I didn't even think of that. That would be terrible. Can you imagine the family and friends of this young woman, Tina Tintor? You're driving around Vegas and you see this man on a billboard. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm all for second chances, but that's
sure. No, Mike Vick got his second chance, and he did well. And he, once again, I obviously I believe in the justice systems. That's what I do. That's what I defend every day. So once you serve your time, you deserve to come back and basically make your living the way you can make your living. I just agree. Like I said, it shouldn't be in Vegas. We shouldn't have anything to do with them. And like I said, I just hard pass on both those guys, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think the Raiders are going in such a different direction now that they should really steer clear of any potential controversial player, to be honest. Anyone that's had, someone said right here, and I've never agreed with this. Speedy, what's good? The NFL is biased. Look at Ray Lewis and Michael Vick. I think the NFL and the fans really have had a really bad habit or reputation of accepting criminals. Let's just say what it is. They're certain and accepting them and praising them. And I've never agreed with it. And I think the Raiders should really just steer. You can be a bad boy. You can be a dog on the field. You can be mad and rough and tough and talk the shit and do all that and get in their face. That's all good. That is all good. But we don't need these off-field antics and these drama and these distractions.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Pete's bringing in nothing but professionalism and guys that are all about football and just that's what they're about. And they're, like I said, all the off-field stuff. He doesn't want those type of guys, and we don't need them. We don't need them in the organization. Like I said, we're going in such a good direction.
Yeah, and I've said it several times. I said it at the top of this. It looks like we're a professional football team in the front office now. Let's be a professional football team on and off the field also. Let's be professionals about this, because you're expected to do that in any other profession also.
Yep.
Right.
Why is this different? So I think character matters. I understand that people are going to make mistakes. I understand that things are going to happen, but some of these that we've had in the past are like, well, what did you expect to happen? He did this, and this, and then he did this. What did you think? So that's character. That's not, mistake or bad decision. That's character, and I think we got to avoid some of that. We got to avoid some of that.
I 100% agree. Well, thank you all for joining. We appreciate you being here. Catch us every Monday on Monday Night Madness. We might try let us know real quick. Let's take a real quick survey. We might try to go a little later maybe. We've had some requests that it's a little too early in the day. People want us to go on at 8 or 9 o'clock even. I know that may or may not work for a lot of people. We might try it on a one-off, maybe at 8 o'clock. Let us know if that time slot would work for you. We might toggle back and forth or something like that. Also, remember, light that torch, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to join the raffle, please do. I put the raffle information up there just a little bit earlier, but the easiest way to find it obviously is just to go to Facebook, Spicy Raider Girl, or you could Venmo right there. Just put in the description that you want to enter, and hopefully we can get this home opener raffled off. Monday Night Football against the division rival in the Chargers, Monday Night Football. So make sure to join this if you want to be in that building. All right, guys.
Chargers.
What's that?
I said the 1-0 Raiders playing the Chargers.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Hopefully becoming 2-0 before they have to go to DC, right? All right, everybody. Well, you know, Raider Nation, we go out one way and only one way. Raiders! I didn't need to play that again. We out. Bye, everyone.
I would.